Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie, and today is the Buffalo Trace Nashville 1 Blind Challenge. Yeah.
Buffalo Trace, one of the most beloved distilleries. A lot of what they make is allocated. There is a love-hate relationship for a lot of people with this brand, and even their baseline Buffalo Trace whiskey can be hard to find for some of you out there. For us, we first discovered it 20 years ago, fell in love with it. It's been a gateway whiskey for us, and as a special look back on just when our real affinity for Buffalo Trace started, July 4, 2013, when you and I ran the Buffalo Trace Buffalo Chase, a 5K run on the grounds of Buffalo Trace Distillery.
And at the time, 5K, unimaginable.
Somehow, if you can believe it, we're in better shape now than we were then. We stuck around afterwards for a tasting where we were introduced to a bunch of new things that we didn't know existed.
So Norman is curious, what are we drinking tonight?
Buffalo Trace has a couple of different mash bills that they use for most of their products. Mash bill 1, according to the internet, is a low rye mash bill that contains 10% rye or less in the mash bill. So today we selected 4 bourbons made using Buffalo Trace's mash bill number 1, the low rye mash bill. The first bourbon we're tasting is Buffalo Trace. Everybody knows it, nearly everybody loves it. It sells in the low to mid $20 range for a 750 milliliter bottle. We don't have any shelf stock right now, but we do have 2 single barrel store picks. We're pulling the 8-year pick that we have more of for this test. For the record, every single barrel store pick of this brand has been more tasty and satisfying than the regular shelf stock version of Buffalo Trace that we have owned. Buffalo Trace is 90 proof and usually readily available. Next up is Colonel E.H. Taylor Small Batch. This is the bottled in bond brand. It can be hard to find, but typically this is the bottle that we pull out for friends who have never tasted anything fancier than Buffalo Trace and have never sipped from a Glencairn glass. It always surprises, it always impresses. It's a great gateway bourbon if you can find it. Sells in the mid $40 range and is 100 proof. Next up is Eagle Rare. It is a $30 crusher, fairly readily available where we live, aged for 10 years. It's 90 proof and it sells for right around $30. Next up is Benchmark, which comes in many versions and flavors. We'll be trying Old Number 8, the 80 proof version. It's $23 for a plastic liter, so we're not expecting the world from this one. A couple of bottles that we're not going to include today, and the reason why. E.H. Taylor single barrel. First off, it's quite rare. It sells for about $65, and at that price point, it sort of removes itself from honest competition today. Additionally, Stag Jr. at 131 proof. We already know how great it is. We already know how special it is, and at that proof, it has no business being in this challenge. Finally, this bottle right here, Old Taylor, we know it's made by Buffalo Trace. Judging by the flavors in this bottle, we think it's Mash Bill 1, but we cannot find any information on this online. So if you know more about this bottle, anything, it's 6 years aged, it's all we know about it. It's got the Taylor name on it. So please, somebody out there, let us know what in the heck this stuff is, because it's good.
It's really good.
For $10 or $11 for this bottle, I would love to have it be a part of this. I just don't know if it's the right mash bill, so we're gonna put this back on the shelf. But please, somebody out there, if you know something, let us know in the comments.
So this is a fully blind tasting. Phil poured them, I mixed them all up, and I gotta say, it's pretty crazy how many delicious bourbons come out of Mash Bill 1.
Honestly, the amount of time they each spend in the barrel, the different proofs that they come out at, the places in the rick houses where they're stored, everything contributes to the unique aromas and flavors and finishes of each one of these whiskeys. So I'm really excited to get into this. I am kind of hoping that we find a lot of similarities in here, but I'm just excited to try a bunch of whiskey.
So we're gonna go right to left and then a second tasting left to right. We'll try to keep it quick because you just want to know who wins.
Right, I do too. Bell means it's time to start. Fruity, not overly powerful.
Smells like a little bit of a higher proof one here.
You think so?
Well, it's the first one, so I'll but now the fruitiness is really coming through.
Yeah, when you swirl it, it comes through.
Wow, they get more delicious the farther you go down.
That's a butterscotch party on number 2.
So sweet. Oh yeah, butterscotch.
Oh my goodness.
I almost end up in bubblegum land over here on the left.
Yeah? Oh, there is a lot going on in these.
I'm standing by my initial comment about how number 1 seems like it has the higher proof.
Let's take a sip. Let's find out.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers, number 1. That's smoky.
It does have The charred oak, the smoke is coming through there. Yeah, that's pretty flavorful. That's pretty unique.
Really unique. Licoricey, like black licoricey or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's a little bit smoky.
Yeah. Anise.
Yeah.
Anise?
I think it just depends on
However you say it, that's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no sharp sweetness on that.
It's a little bit spicy, and also the mouthfeel on that one's pretty incredible. It really coats well. Glass number 2, here we go.
Ooh, sweet nose.
Raisins?
I'm trying to think of what flavors I'm tasting right now.
This one's interesting. There's something bready about it, like a raisin loaf or something like that. There's vanilla in there. That's really nice. This one's more flavorful than the nose indicated that it would be. The nose had a little bit of ethanol on it, but I don't get any of that on the palate.
I'm getting a nice heat that kind of backtracks.
Oh, now there's a little bit of a shortbread kick on the back end of that one, on the finish. Oh, I like that. There's leather in there, maybe tobacco. I really like that one.
Oh, they're getting giddy. Little shake it out.
The hairs on my arms are standing up. Number 3?
Oh my gosh, this nose smells like banana bread. Some sort of breadiness to it.
Let's find out.
You know what's so funny about this? That the taste of this tastes exactly like the nose smell to me. This is what I smelled, this is what I tasted.
Oh, well that's good.
I know
As advertised.
As advertised. I don't know if I've ever had that before.
I think I know why that is, and it's also the same reason that as soon as you swallow this, it's gone. There's nothing on the finish here. If I had to guess, I'd think that that's the 80 proofer because there's no difference from the nose to the palate. There's no ethanol burn. There's nothing like that. And as soon as you swallow it, it's out of there.
So thin that it's like you didn't even drink anything.
There's something nice though. It's almost like butterscotch, but more like a candy corn sort of thing going on there. It's very candy-like. There's a little vanilla. I don't dislike it at all. It's not wowing me in any way. It's kind of just nice and pleasant.
Yeah, I can see, I don't really feel like drinking today, but I kind of want to drink today, so I just have that one.
It's pretty much, yeah, that's my baseline. Speaking of baselines, that's where I live. That's all right. Glass number 4. Oh.
I'm enjoying the nose on this one.
Yeah, this one has a really nice nose on it.
Oh, I love that. That one is so good to me.
Wow.
Should I not like this one?
No, it's delightful. That cherry note is all over the place on this one.
And I'm getting like a pink bubble gum, which is a little strange.
Yeah, I like this. So I just kind of burst out with it. Yeah, it's good.
The flavor profile in this is like right up my alley.
This one has a really delightful leather quality to it. Sometimes I'm not crazy about leather on my bourbon, but this one's really nice. The palate has a little bit of honey. There's marshmallow here. You're right about the bubblegum, by the way, on this one. I'm getting it too.
All around good. My notes are not great on this one, but I have a smile and I feel like
got brown sugar now?
As long as you got a smile on your face, it's worth drinking.
Yeah, if you're smiling while you're drinking, you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Gonna zip back the other way.
Yep.
Whatever this glass 4 is, when this tasting is over, I'm gonna have more of it.
God, I hope it's not the benchmark.
There's no way that's the benchmark. I actually kind of wish it was the benchmark. That'd be great.
I know. Getting a lot of butterscotch in that one, number 3.
It's a toffee candy. What are those things that grandpas carry in their pockets?
Werther's?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a
those are
Werther's
delicious.
candy.
I love those.
It's Werther's and candy corn. It's really a lot of candy corn on this. Yeah, I don't dislike it.
I didn't like number 2 on this go round.
On the way back, it's not nearly as sweet.
This is gonna be tricky.
I think that this is our hottest one. It is really complex.
What's interesting about these blind tastings is that when you drink them in one direction, the tastes are completely different when you do them in reverse.
You're absolutely right.
Like that number 2 was so sweet because I drank it after this like licorice smoky bomb. But then coming this way, because these 2 are so sweet, that one was like completely changed.
Completely different. There's better complexity here than in almost, I think maybe than everything else, but it's hard to find because everything else is just so sweet, so candy-like. It's hard to believe that glass 2 came from the same mash bill as the rest of these.
Yeah. So this is going to be an interesting one for me because
Glass 1, the nose on it's so good on the way back, it made me giggle.
well, that's good.
I'm giddy over here.
I was just thinking that this one's going to be interesting because I'm trying to be a little bit more objective about like the actual flavors I'm getting out of them versus just the drinkability.
Glass 1 is opening up nicely now. Brown sugar, vanilla, toffee.
I really enjoyed it on this side. It's completely different than the first time that we drank it.
Yeah, and there's really nice oak on this. Glass 1 and glass 4 both have some pretty complex oak notes that are sweet, not tannic. Those immediately jump up to the top for me because I really like that sweet oak when it's done well, and those both are. Your face is doing a thing.
I feel bad, but I don't particularly enjoy glass number 2.
You have to feel bad about that.
There's one line in this foursome that I've never been fond of, and I'm curious if it's that one. But it just does not mesh with my palate.
If you're not choosing on personal preference, then you're not being authentic. I think we're both going to be surprised by the results of this.
I think I got mine set.
I'm set.
Yeah?
Yep.
All right, let's do this.
Do you want to tell me your least favorite?
Yes, and I'm saying this least favorite not because it was my least favorite in taste, but because of like the full package. Nose, palate, but finish especially, my glass number 3.
I fully agree with you. It was the mouthfeel for me. It was the balance. It was the lack of depth. I like it for what it is. This is a great campfire bottle. I would pass this around. Maybe we do a little day drinking. That's a great day drinking bottle. That's a great, sweet, lovely, obviously low proof bottle, I think.
Yeah, low proof. Drinks so great 2 in the afternoon and you don't want to get into it or something like that.
It's a very simple flavor. It is all candy. It's basically candy corn. I think it's great. Should we see what it is?
Let's make sure we're on the same page.
I've got B.
I have B as well.
My guess is that B is the benchmark. You think so too?
I do.
Okay, what have we got?
We have Benchmark.
There you go.
Not super surprising.
Not a huge surprise. And again, no losers here. Benchmark, surprisingly good.
Yeah, and at $23 for a liter? I feel like it can't really go wrong.
All right, so third place for you.
So this is where it's gonna go a little wonky, I think.
Yeah?
So my third place is glass number 2. And to be perfectly honest, if I was going by drinkability alone, it would have been my 4th place. But I know it deserves a higher ranking, and from start to finish, it is a better overall drink. It just does not hit my flavor profile at all.
So this one is a bit of a heartbreak for me.
Yeah.
I think I know which bottle this is, and I really love this bottle, and I love this line, and I'm a little bit heartbroken that I'm choosing it too. Glass 2 is gonna go third for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that is shocking, because if it's what we think it is, I've tasted multiple bottles of this and I haven't liked any of them. So it's not surprising that it's not high for me, but it's surprising that it's not high for you.
This is interesting, and I think we're gonna catch some heat for this one, but
Totally.
I think it's our highest proof. I like the complexity of it, and I like the flavors of it, and it's a great session bottle to just sit and enjoy, but we're doing a blind tasting. You have to go with what tastes the best in that lineup, and this one is not the best. It's not even the second best, and I think it's because we have a bit of a surprise guest here with that Buffalo Trace being a store pick. They're always better than the regular shelf stock.
Totally.
In our experience. So glass number 2, I'm almost positive, and I think you are too. I think it's the Taylor. It is glass A.
A is the E.H. Taylor small batch bottled and bond.
Well, that definitely is a surprise for
And
us.
broke some hearts probably?
Probably.
Not my heart, but some hearts.
It's delicious, complex, flavorful, 100 proof. You know, the Taylor line is kind of funny that way, that they're priced a little higher, they're allocated, so they're kind of hard to find. And then you get one, and usually they're great. I'd love to introduce this bottle to people who don't ever get to try this bottle. And you love it when you're just sitting around sipping out of a Glencairn, but when you put it up against all these really sweet whiskeys,
Yeah, it almost feels a little unfair.
I hold this bottle in very high regard. In this particular tasting, it didn't really hit our palates the way that the other glasses did. I really think that this bottle and the bottle that finished second were pretty close, but this bottle and the bottle that finished 4th, pretty big gap. So which glass comes in second for you?
So second place for me is glass number 1. It's the smokiness of it that was throwing me a bit today. I did really enjoy the licorice smoky flavors of it. I thought it was super enjoyable, just not my personal preference today.
Right, you know what, I'm going the same route.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna be like 4 for 4.
This glass is hyper complex. The charred oak is beautiful on it, toffee notes, vanilla, brown sugar. The finish is long lasting, and the legs on this are ridiculous. I actually think these are the best legs of any of the glasses on the table. I still feel like it's sticking to my palate. It's wonderful, and it's very complex, and it doesn't taste youthful in the least, which makes me think that it's been aged for quite a while. I've found it enjoyable and complex, and the sweetness was wonderful. I really, really enjoyed that. It's a beautiful glass, and most unusual for the Buffalo Trace line. I'm not used to finding that sort of smoky charred oak
No, at all.
taste on it. I believe that this is our Buffalo Trace single barrel store pick. We'll talk about single barrel store picks later on in the month, as this is Buffalo Trace month. This is such a unique flavor that doesn't taste like the rest of Mash Bill 1 here. I think that's our Buffalo Trace store pick.
And so this is letter C.
Same.
Great. And it is the Buffalo Trace store pick.
And that pick is no longer available, unfortunately. We've been loving on this. We bought a couple of bottles of this when it was available from Trailhead Liquor on the north side of Bend, Oregon. Their store picks are always great, and this one is no different. We know that this is at least aged for 8 years. They just have great picks.
We've said this in a couple videos now that Buffalo Trace is great in general, but if you can get that store pick, it's only a couple dollars more.
Sometimes it's the exact same price.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot better than just the regular. Is that too much?
No.
Oh.
I just realized we didn't put the bottle down. So if you see a Buffalo Trace with a little sticker on it like that, put it in your shopping basket, or at least consider it along with the other things you're buying. We love single barrel store picks. We have a lot of them. We'll introduce you to some of them later this month. That's a great quality pour. That one surprisingly flavorful, because I love Taylor, but this one with that complex oak note just sort of eked past.
And we threw a little curveball in there with the store pick versus just the regular
I don't
Buffalo
know.
Trace, but
I doubt very much that the regular shelf stock Buffalo Trace would have wound up here in second place. I really don't think it would have.
it would have been for me probably, because I'm not a big Taylor fan.
Well, good for you. That leaves number 1, and that means that there is no doubt who our winner is.
I'm really excited because
This bottle just keeps winning blind tastings. It keeps kicking butt in
Under
the
$30.
challenges every single time this is in a blind tasting. It surprises. It swings way above its weight.
way above. Like I said, under $30. The proof is like just perfect for just a daily drinker. The flavors are so great.
For something with this much flavor, for it to be so affordable, it's a little crazy. Eagle Rare, aged for 10 years. Do you want to know a tidbit about it?
I do.
It used to be that every bottle of Eagle Rare said single barrel on it. A few years ago, Buffalo Trace updated to a automated bottling system, and since barrels are switched out while the bottles are still being filled, every now and again, a bottle winds up getting the juice from 2 barrels in it. And so legally they can no longer say that it's a single barrel, but to my knowledge, most of the bottles that are on the shelf, aside from one every few hundred bottles, is still a single barrel bottle.
Well, everything that I've drank of Eagle Rare has been delicious. So whether it's one or a mix.
Yeah, if they're batching them, they're still doing a great job.
Yeah.
Man, I'm surprised by that. I really thought that the Taylor and the Eagle Rare would top this list comfortably, but how about those store picks? They're so good.
They're so good.
So we didn't make a big deal out of it at the top of this video, but March 2021 is Buffalo Trace month here at the Bourbon Van. So every single video will feature a Buffalo Trace product. So whether those are blind tastings that we release on Mondays, or Whiskey in the Van Wednesdays where we review a different bottle every Wednesday, or multiple bottles every Wednesday, it's all gonna be Buffalo Trace centric. So if you ever wanted to know more about Buffalo Trace, hang around, because you're gonna be so sick of it by the end of this month. And for that, you're welcome.
Yeah, totally.
If you don't want to know anything about Buffalo Trace,
Just watch anyway.
yeah, or just set your calendar, come back in a month. We are looking forward to celebrating all of the bottles that Buffalo Trace makes, at least the ones that we can get our hands on. And we hope that you follow along and enjoy it as much as we do.
We hardly ever agree on anything. 4 for 4.
That's pretty impressive.
Super impressive.
Well, if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more Buffalo Trace content, make sure that you subscribe, hit the bell so that you get a notification whenever we release a new video. Comment on this video, let us know how wrong we are on all of this.
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's coming. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It helps us out a lot.
So from wherever we are,
To wherever you are,
cheers.
cheers.